has turned into that. It's always filled with, even if it's not a law enforcement event, I've been seeing the community utilizing that space. So it was great. Our block captain for District 5 was Miss Tracy Anderson from the Lake Sunset community, where she was recognized for her leadership on safety in District 5. And I also would like to thank our liaison from OPD, Richard Patterson, and our Neighborhood Watch personnel, Carl Anderson, because this work, when we talk about community engagement and crime intervention, it is a team effort. It is the residents, our liaisons there at OPD, and of course our HOA members. So I'd like to thank them for a job well done this year, and I'll end with that, Mayor. Thank you. Excuse me, I do have one more thing to say. I apologize, which is very important. On Wednesday, February the 28th, 2018, from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Harry P. Lou Gardens in the Camellia Room, there will be an outreach event for minorities and women business owners to learn about upcoming contracts, opportunities here for the city procurement and contract division, upcoming contract opportunities for Skanska, about the UCF downtown campus, and how to become City of Orlando certified, and also how to obtain assistance and loans from the Black Business Investment Fund, and how to obtain information on bonding and sureties, and also how to network with other minority firms and other city contractors. Of course, food will be provided, but this is a very important event. Oftentimes, when I'm out and about, folks want to know, how do you do business with the city? If you come to this event, you will find out how you can be a part of the continued building of the City of Orlando, how to become a minority contractor, and also how to partner with other primes, so that if you're not, have reached a capacity to become a prime, that you can work with others to build your portfolio and at least get to some work here in the City of Orlando. And that's very important to this council, that all are included in the building of this beautiful city called Orlando, our home. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 6, Commissioner Ings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You ready for me now? Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to express my condolences, too, for those students and families that lost lives at the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, and that's near Fort Lauderdale area. But I also like to commend the students for really standing up, those that survived the event, and how they've stood up against guns and against violence, and how they've even stood up against the politicians, both local and federal politicians. So please continue to do the great things that you're doing to bring about a difference in improving and making our communities a lot safer than where we are now. And that brings me to the point of where, since 2006, I've talked about the lack of school resource officers for our elementary schools. We have one police officer that's assigned to every 4 elementary schools. And really, that's not enough. And when will we see the light and really make an investment, and we being the City of Orlando and also the Orange County Public School System, to place a police school resource officer for each elementary school that's in the City of Orlando. And I think we would be making a huge statement of seeking to make sure that our students and the teachers and the campuses are well protected. Also, I'd like to announce that on Wednesday, February 21st at 9 a.m., at the Orange County Regional History Center, Orlando Remembered Incorporated. I was their guest speaker for this particular event, and it just happens to be Black History Month, so that was a perfect opportunity for me to speak on Black history. Claude Wolf is the president of the organization, and Grace Tuning is the secretary-treasurer. Grace Tuning used to be a former city clerk here with the city of Orlando. But the piece that I talked about was attorney Paul C. Perkins Sr. and special NAACP counsel at that time, Thurgood Marshall. Both of those individuals were in Orlando, and Thurgood Marshall was in Orlando. This was around February of 1952, and they both had to travel to Marion County to attend the court there because they were defending Walter Irvin, who was one of the Groveland Four that had been accused of a crime that he had not committed, but yet he had been convicted. So he was ordered a retrial, and they were there to represent him in the retrial. Also, white attorney Jack Greenberg was there to show support and be a part of counsel. But Paul Perkins was a Black Orlando attorney, and he started his own law practice in the city of Orlando in 1950. He was a community leader, a judge. He was the town of Eatonville's attorney, and as we know, Eatonville is the oldest Black township or city in the United States. He was also a co-founder, director, and secretary of the Washington Shores Federal Savings and Loan Association in Orlando, and this was the first savings and loan bank owned by Blacks, which is located in Washington Shores. In 1965, he became the first Black prosecutor for the city of Orlando. He was appointed by Mayor Robert Bob Carr at that time, and he served as prosecutor until 1969 when he resigned to focus on his private practice. Attorney Paul C. Perkins was an outstanding criminal defense attorney. He was also a lifetime member of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. He served on the Interracial Committee in the 1950s and the 1960s. Attorney Paul C. Perkins helped to fight against separate public facilities for Blacks and whites. He helped to fight against racial tensions and negative racial relations in the city of Orlando. He also helped promulgate the charter of Orange County to establish single-member districts for county commissioners. He recognized that single-member districts would give Blacks their fair potential for political presentation and representation. Paul Perkins' wife, Jacqueline Perkins, is still with us here in Orlando today. Paul Perkins died on July 4th, 1985, and he was 66 years old. He has two sons, Byron Perkins and Paul C. Perkins, Jr. One other aspect about Paul Perkins was he served in the Army during World War II, and he attained the rank of captain and graduated from Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, and he graduated from Howard University Law School in Washington, D.C. And Thurgood Marshall also graduated from Howard Law School in Washington, D.C. in 1933. And in 1933, that was the year my father was born. And my father was one of those police officers that was a pioneer. He was the first Black police officer that was appointed as an investigator for the city of Orlando. And as we know, the first two Black police officers in the city of Orlando were Richard A. Jones, who retired as a police lieutenant, and Belvin Perry Sr. The father of former Chief Judge Belvin Perry Jr. here in Orlando, Orange County. They were the first 2 black police officers that were appointed by the city of Orlando in 1951. And if you're out and about in the Washington Shores area, you can look there at Wooden Boulevard and Hankins Circle, and you'll see 2 statues that we erected there with the 2 officers looking over the community in full uniform and their police uniform and hat and gun. So they're still watching over the community, and as a matter of fact, when they were appointed police officers in 1951, they both lived on Wooden Boulevard. So it's so befitting that they are there still patrolling and watching over the community. Also, this is Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year 2018, and this is the year of the dog. And there are many festivities that were held this week in honor of Chinese New Year. As a matter of fact, I saw Mayor Dyer and Commissioner Stewart in a parade representing the Chinese, participating in the Chinese New Year celebration. But there was also a celebration held at the L. Claudia Allen Center in District 6. This center is for the seniors, and the seniors of the Chinese community come there often to Claudia Allen Center. And the event was sponsored by Andrew Jin. If you've ever attended a Chinese New Year celebration, there would always be food and a raffle for good